superstition versus reinventing the wheel. How could we find a healthy balance? On one hand, we got folks, when it comes to meditation, we got folks who are superstitious and rigid and frightened and controlling. We have one way of doing things, and we have ways to make you do things the way we do things. Those ways are not pleasant ways. It's like the Third Reich school of being conservative. But on the other hand, we got poop heads who are just arrogantly reinventing the wheel because they can, because they think they're smarter and wiser, and they just want to be different for the sake of being different. And you know what? I've been both. I've been a coward and I've been a fool. Maybe you have as well. So then, what is the test of the teachings? Well, is it orthodoxy? If something is exactly like it was done in the past, does that mean it's the best way? No. Could it be novelty? If something is different necessarily better? No. Ask an engineer. They'll tell you. Novelty can be fun, but it's no guarantee of effectiveness or efficaciousness, depending upon how posh you might be. Then could it be the scientific method? But what's that? If you ask an anti-science evangelical who is prone to making a straw man argument, they would say that science is a body of knowledge that an atheist would worship. Yikes! No, it's not a body of knowledge. It is a methodology that we use to explore the world around us and test hypotheses. So when we have a hypothesis, you don't want to say, ooh, this hypothesis is fancy, it's pretty, it's elegant, therefore it must be true. No, we test it. And because every good science person knows that we are, as a species, are prone to self-deception, we study, or should study, the logical fallacies and the cognitive biases to make sure that we don't step in it up to our knees. And just to make sure to keep ourselves honest, after we meticulously record our hypothesis, our methodology, our results, and the analysis thereof, we then take all that material and we don't dare say that it's there's a word that they use for intellectual knowledge. What's it called? Starts with a P. Proprietary. They don't say this is proprietary. They say this is open. Here's everything I did. Please replicate it if you can. And if you can't, show me where I went wrong. That is the scientific method. Or in a nutshell, hypothesis, action, analysis. And based on that analysis, the internal and external analysis determines our next modification of the hypothesis. That's a scientific method. A good scientist, a good man or woman of science, is more concerned about the advancement of the field than about their own personal prestige. Despite what we might see on Third Rock from the Sun. Oops, I'm sorry, a Big Bang Theory. So, as always, I want to tie this up in a big red bow, maybe like that, and by quoting from the 18th verse of the Total Space of Vajrasattva, or Dorje Sampanam Kache, written by Prahe Vajra, or Garab Dorje, way back in the 6th century of this era, in the Swat Valley of contemporary Afghanistan. Together. Thought-free equality is the Dharmakaya mastery of awareness and letting go. Like the moon's reflection in water, it cannot be grasped. Through the energy manifestation of Samantha Bandra, the Ali Kali with vowels and consonants are profoundly displayed. Okay, what does this mean and how does this relate to what we just said? Simple. In an illiterate world, we can really impress the tourists by our ability to read and write. When I was a kid, I remember being in a tourist trap and seeing something that said, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. So the test of something is not whether it's novel. The test of something is not whether it appeals to orthodoxy. The test is found in experimentation. If something we do, helps us to be free from the tyranny of our destructive impulses, then it's useful. If something we do does not free us from the tyranny of our destructive impulses, then it really isn't useful. That, my friends, is the litmus test. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School, a guy who's acquired expertise in each school of Buddhism, but not a diverse wardrobe. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So tonight's text was composed in the 1800s by Dojum Lingpa. It was translated under the guidance of Tulku Chagdud, and it has been both adapted and amplified by this bloke what sits before you. We're going to play with many techniques, but our techniques fall into 4 categories. Anu Yogas, energy work, Sutra, contemplations, Bhakti Yoga, mindfulness and meditation, and Maha Yoga's mantra meditation. As always, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. So now let us begin with Anu Yoga's energy work. Let's put our palms, let's pucker our palms, let's lift them overhead and chant. Oh, Master Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all things. Oh, Master Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all things. Thank you, James. You the man. To you I send a Yoda high five. Oh, Master Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. And now we come to this evening's first meditation. Just like the first bike we had as kids, most likely had training wheels on them that were clunky, but, kept us from getting bruised or skinned or scraped. Similarly, we're going to play with a rather clunky device. As we breathe in, we're going to silently and mentally recite the 12 syllables, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. And as we exhale, we're going to recite another 12 syllables, relaxing, into mind's non-graspable nature. If you've just joined us, welcome aboard. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, just type your question in great detail in the chat window. Now we come to the first sutra contemplation of the preciousness of human life. For doing so helps to nurture the joyful enthusiasm of the sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. Together, let's put our palms once again in the puckered palm position in front of our chest. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. As humans, we are wired to seek for the novel. As humans, we're wired to contrast and compare and find ways to do better. These are survival instincts which have served our ancestors well. They help us to survive, but not to thrive. They can make us super, super ungrateful and cranky and resentful and scared. And this little contemplation helps to remind us that even though our life might not be worthy of accolades in terms of being in Vanity Fair or Gentleman's Quarterly or something like that, we've still got it pretty good. We have enough freedom to sit in front of our computers and meditate and chant. We have enough freedom and health and lucidity. And we have political freedom. We're not in a war zone right now. We're not civilians being attacked by an army right now. We are not suffering a genocide right now, like our brothers and sisters in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. We're really, really fortunate. So, having chanted this, we can now relax in the nature of mind. This time, we're going to remove the first of two metaphoric training wheels by reducing our exercise from 12 syllables down to just 3. As we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite, notice this. And as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing. Now, the cool thing is we're already wired to notice as we breathe in, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, and we're wired to relax as we breathe out due to our parasympathetic nervous system. So all we're really doing is getting out of our own way. Sometimes, folks, just sometimes, okay, at least once a day, it's going to feel like our circumstance or our bodies or our relationships or our minds are trying to beat the bloody hell out of us. And when that happens, the skillful use of labels can help not to change what's going on, but to cope with what's going on and even harness the raw, crackling energy of the present moment and allow it to turn the wheels and cogs of the metaphoric enlightenment machine within our autonomic nervous system. So, for instance, there'll be times when, we might notice appearances or sounds or sensations or flavors or scents or the like. Other times we might notice emotions or intentions, thoughts, memories, or imaginings. When those things come up, rather than fight them, rather than indulge them, rather than analyze them, we can simply slap a label on it and continue with a variation of meditation. And fortunately, it's not our job to be perfect. We don't have to have perfect timing. We don't have to select the perfect label. Our brains are self-correcting. That's why most of us don't walk at a 45-degree angle. We have self-correcting mechanisms in our mind. So remember, we were born naked, screaming, and covered in filth. Life is messy. Meditation is messy. Learning is messy. It's okay. There's no need to judge yourself. So once a week, one of my neighbors drinks a lot of beer and then it has angry phone calls. And so when I hear that, rather than resenting that, I can just use that to turn the wheels of meditation. Resonance, relaxing. Good evening, Jui. Pleased to see you. Right back at you. We come to the second sutra contemplation of impermanence, a key to the wisdom of letting go, the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. There's so many wonderful songs by Oingo Boingo. One of them, I think it's called, gosh, I don't remember what it's called. It's from the album Dead Men's Party. But the singer insists, oh yeah, no one lives forever. That's the name of the song. At least that's the chorus. And the protagonist of the song is, but I'm very clever and I'm very quick. But with each year you get a little slower and you lose a step, and no one lives forever. So all of us want to live forever. That's this wired into us. But it doesn't happen. So now that we've chanted, let's relax into the nature of mind, removing the second of two metaphoric training wheels, reducing our exercises from 3 syllables down to 1. As we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite this monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Good morning to you, Jui. In which state do you live? Now, obviously, converting 8 3-syllable labels into 8 1-syllable labels, did I say 8? I meant 10, can require an occasional bit of the old poetic license. So when we notice physical sensations, we could use the label form. When we notice emotional experiences, we could use the label feel. When we notice a memory, we could use the preposition then. When we notice a flight of fancy, we could use the verb dream. Maharashtra. Well, I don't speak Maharashtra. I only know like 8 words of Hindi. So, sorry, that's all I've got is namaste. Sorry, man. That's all I've got. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Ready? Here's my ridiculously bad Hindi. Here we go. Chalo. If I pronounced it correctly, and if I remember it correctly, cello means let's go. kind of like Bominos. We come to the third sutra recitation pertaining to interdependence, which can strengthen our wishing love, the second fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. How so, you might say? Simply this. You and I most likely have two appendages that we can use to flail at someone or to hug someone, to make someone feel rejected or to make someone feel comforted. So let's chant. The results of all virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of all virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of all virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. Now let us rest the mind. If your eyes are open, you might have known me experience a motor tic. I have many neurological disabilities, and so I'm prone to motor ticking. I hope that's not too great a distraction for you. About once every 10 years, I get to use the word chalo in a sentence. The last time I used it was probably like 15 years ago. I was standing at a stop sign. There were some women wearing saris. The light changed. We got a walk signal. So I turned to them and said, chalo. And they were just, they were so impressed. We come to the fourth sutra recitation of stress. Our stress feeds our empathy for others. The three realms we experience as samsara cycle or like an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience as samsara cycle or like an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience as samsara cycle or like an ocean of suffering. So let's get down to brass tacks for a minute. That's a distinctly European saying. So let me hit button 4 and subject you to jumbo face. So here's the deal. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything is crap, including meditation instruction. Good old Lao Tzu taught us that there was philosophical yang and yin. Those stuck in the yang worldview, or when we are stuck in the yang worldview, we tend to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and sometimes cruel. But there's an opposite. There's a yin world perspective. And when we are in a yin mode, we tend to be flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. And despite the ravings of idiots, our job is not to find a balance. Our job is to walk in yin. That's one of the main thrusts of the Tao Te Ching. But just like moths are drawn to porch lights, people given to yang are drawn to positions of power and respect and authority. And once they're in this position, well, either maliciously or lazy-mindedly, they twist the teachings. They can't help themselves, but they do. For instance, in my country, we have some people on the conservative right who are villains, but they're idiots. They can't help themselves. So similarly, there are many, many sanctimonious idiots, people who say that we're supposed to, life is horrible, horrible, and we have to flee from all the horribleness. But that's a twisting of the teachings used to manipulate the masses. Yes, some things are pleasurable and some things are painful, some things are interesting, some things are boring, some things are glorious, some things are grotesque. The same doggy that can nurture a kitten might break a squirrel's neck. There is grotesquerie and glory all around us. The greatest luminaries of Hinduism and of Buddhism and of Sikhism and of Jainism were all about being vulnerable and letting go. And so when I share these contemplations, it's not designed to multiply your neurosis. So I take these teachings, which are often used by the people who are kind of yang, and I try to take it out of their hands and teach it from a yin point of view. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because a villain might brush their teeth doesn't mean we shouldn't brush our teeth. Everyone should brush their teeth. But we want to find a non-villainous way of brushing our teeth. The three realms we experience of samsara cycle are like an ocean of suffering. Come, let us rest our mind. Remembering this may my mind turn toward Dharma. Remembering this may my mind turn toward Dharma. Remembering this may my mind turn toward Dharma. From now until I reach a very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until I reach a very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until I reach a very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. Now, we do not do this to get bonus points. We do not do this to get good karma. We do this because every healthy, complex life form is wired for empathy. We can't help ourselves. So here's a fun little perspective to play with. During the first half of Ngondra, we look at the 4 thoughts that turn the mind to the teachings, and they can kind of be like a slap in the face, kind of pointing out to us, where we've been shitheads. But everything else we do during the Nongro, the bowing, the recitation, the Vajrasattva practice, the Guru Yoga, the mandala, these all are remedial. They fix the flaws that were pointed out in the first half. So it's kind of like the first half is taking an archer taking aim, and the second half is the archer releasing his arrow. To perfect the two accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my loves to the 3 jewels. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my loves to the 3 jewels. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my loves to the 3 jewels. So I mentioned bowing. I might as well demonstrate that. So I'll do that I might also do that right now. Couldn't hurt. So here's what I'll do. Okay. And maybe, just maybe, I will be on camera while I do this. Let's see if I can't work that out. So these are geriatric step-back squat thrusts. From now until I reach the reaching the Lama who embodies the 3 jewels. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the 3 jewels. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the 3 jewels. Excuse me. Again, the puckered palms are overhead. Doshi Sampa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations. Vajrasattva. Doshi Sampa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations. Vajrasattva. Doshi Sampa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations. Vajrasattva. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although compelling to the eye, is not graspable to the hand. We now come to the first of two sets. Let's rest the mind. So we come to our first collection of mantra meditation. This first collection of mantra meditation is focused on awareness and letting go. How is it that as we inhale, all calm and lots of circumstances could appear quite vivid? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, we could feel as non-graspable the surreal or imagined paradise or vati of light. So we just verbally recited a rather lengthy rhetorical question. During our inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite a very concise version of the same question. During our exhalation, we're going to physically relax as best we can while chanting these 6 syllables. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. And now let's rest the mind. How is it that as we inhale our common bodies, our forms could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined octopoiodom of light. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Some meditation teachers are like used car salesmen, always promising you that enlightenment is one empowerment away. I gotta tell you, this practice contains all the techniques you need to master the Buddha's path, to become the next Buddha. How is it that as we inhale the interpersonal experience of common communication, our speech could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into a purifying exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra of light. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum, Om Vajra Sattva Hum. How is it that as we inhale we could perceive mind's common functions clearly? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined considerable whom of light. Vajra Sattva Hum 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 Puckered palms before the chest. Dissolving into light, diamond mind, mother and father blend with me in experience of God's oneness. Dissolving into light, diamond mind, mother and father blend with me in experience of God's oneness. Dissolving into light, diamond mind, mother and father blend with me in experience of God's oneness. Puckered palms overhead. How would my leg dorje nausea in the sky in front of me? My rude Lama could appear in the form of Padmakara. How would my leg dorje nausea in the sky in front of me? My Lama could appear in the form of Padmakara. How am I like Dorje Naljor in the sky in front of me? My rude Lama could appear in the form of Padmakara. Embodiment of all Buddhas of the three times most excellent Rude Lama, I pray to you. Embodiment of all the Buddhas of the three times most excellent Rude Lama, I pray to you. Embodiment of all Buddhas of the three times most excellent Rude Lama, I pray to you. Hold me with your compassion in this and future lives, and in the border bless me always throughout the 3 times. Hold me in this and hold me with your compassion in this and future lives, and in the border bless me always throughout the 3 times. Hold me with your compassion in this and future lives, and in the border bless me always throughout the 3 times. And so just as the first set of 4 mantra meditations focused on awareness and letting go, this set of 4 mantra meditations will focus on love and letting go. Puckered palms in front of the chest. May all circumstances, all lots of all beings know have their safety, good fortune, or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Vati. Om Ahu Vajra Guru Manmaziri, 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 May all bodies of all beings know, enjoy the beautiful, healthy, pictured in Buddhist thought of the blissful body of a yedom of lore and archetype of enlightenment. If you've just joined, welcome aboard. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. So we've just chanted a recitation of wishing love. We've just wished that all beings everywhere would benefit. So now we're going to silently and mentally recite a very, very concise version of the same wish that contains the same, well, instead of using similes like we did over here, we're going to use metaphors, but, same figures of speech. As we exhale, we're going to physically relax as best we can while chanting this 12-syllable mantra. Om Ahum Vadaro Guru Manmaziri 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 Now we're going to rest the mind as we breathe. So we're due to the workings of our sympathetic nervous system. Every time we breathe in, we're wired to perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Therefore, to help facilitate this, every time we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. Similarly, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we're wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. To facilitate this, during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym for relax. Our mind is wired to wander. There's nothing wrong with a monkey mind, despite what fools might tell you. Our mind is wired to perceive and emote and intend and reason and recall and imagine. And all those things are described by the word this. And if we want to go into detail, we can. We can play with these 10 labels if we want to, but we don't have to. Oh my goodness. May all relationships of all beings know me as loving and joyful as a real or imagined Buddha's communication symbolized by this 12-syllable mantra. Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Allow me to share with you one of my favorite quotes from Einstein. Any educated idiot can make things more complicated, more difficult, and more violent, but it takes a lot of courage and a little bit of genius to move in the opposite direction. Those enmeshed in yang will make things just as difficult as possible. Those enmeshed in yin will make it just as easy as possible. Perhaps that is why the Buddha taught in the final portion of the Satipatthana Sutta that full enlightenment could be accomplished in as little as 7 days. May all minds of all beings be as wise and peaceful as the mind of a Buddha of laws and belies by a bija one cerebral seed mantra otically drop. Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Umomahu Vajaraguru Manmaziri Puckered palms before the chest. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened form, speech, and mind. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened form, speech, and mind. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened form, speech, and mind. So please place your puckered palms right in front of your forehead. Benzo Guru Kayo Makatsi Tasiri Hum. Please place your right hand palm up in your lap and your left hand palm up upon that. Now let us invoke the empowerment of Amagosati. Benzo Guru Gaya Wakatsi Tasiri Hum. Let us place our puckered palms before our throat and invoke the empowerment of Amitabha. Benzo Guru Kaya Wakati Tasiri Hum. Let us place the center of our left palm over our navel and the center of our right palm upon that, and invoke the empowerment of Ratnasambhava. Benzo Guru Kaya Wakati Tasiri Hum. Let us place our puckered palms before our chest and invoke the empowerment of Akshobhya. Benzo Guru Kaya Wakati Tasiri Hum. The Lama dissolves in delight and blends with me in our heart's inseparability. I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. The Lama dissolves into light and blends with me in our heart's inseparability. I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. The Lama dissolves into light and blends with me in our heart's inseparability. I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. Please place your puckered palms overhead. I pray to the protector Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound wealth of Pawape. At the moment of our inevitable death, may this exercise come effortlessly to mind, and as such, grant us peace. I pray to the protector Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Pawape. I pray to the protector Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Pawape. We practice Cho's slicing offering to further train in the momentum of generosity's kindness, that it might infect our communication, conduct, and commerce, the third, fourth, and fifth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Puckered palms before the chest. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. Let us seal this evening's practice with a bit of the old loving kindness. Puckered palms before the heart. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.